what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are having a great day. So for today I'm going to be doing a Cyber Dragon deck profile for you guys here on the channel. So if you guys are excited, be sure to subscribe and leave a like on the video because it always helps our channel grow. And without further ado, let's get into the deck profile. So to start off, we are of course playing 3 copies of Cyber Dragon. He is the main monster of this deck. He's a 5-star 2100 attack monster. If your opponent has a monster and you don't, you can special summon him directly from your hand. Otherwise, he's a 1-cost tribute to get him out onto the field. Then we're playing 3 copies of Galaxy Soldier. Reason why we play Galaxy Soldier is because he's a level 5 monster, so that helps go into your rank 5 Xyz plays with Cyber Dragon Nova, and then into Cyber Dragon Infinity in your extra deck. And also with his effect, you can send one other light monster from your hand to the graveyard to special summon him out onto the field. And then if you do, you can search another Galaxy monster in your deck and add it to your hand. So it's a good way to get your other 2 Galaxy monsters quickly out of the deck and into your hand for more plays. Then we play 3 copies of Cyber Dragon Naxter here. So there are a couple reasons why we play 3 copies of Cyber Dragon Naxter. The first is that he's easy to get out onto the field. You can just discard one other monster to special summon him from your hand. Another reason is that if you do normal or special summon him, you can target a machine monster with 2100 attack or defense in your graveyard and special summon it. So if for some reason your Cyber Dragon ends up in your graveyard, which will happen quite a bit actually with this deck, you can bring him directly back onto the field and maybe make a rank 5 Xyz play with him, or do something else, or link him off for Cyber Dragon Seer. Then we're playing 3 copies of Cyber Dragon Core in the deck. The reason why we're playing 3 copies of Core is he is one of your main searchers. So when he's normal summon, you can add a Cyber or add one spell or trap that has Cyber listed in it in its text from your deck to your hand. So that's a good way to get into like your Cyber Emergency card or anything that has to do with Cyber Dragon. So your Cyber Repair Plant, even your trap card like Cybernetic Overflow. That's another good way to get that out of your deck and into your hand quickly so you can use it. As an added bonus, if your opponent controls a monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard to special summon a Cyber Dragon from your deck. Then we're playing 3 copies of Cyber Dragon Hers. And Hers is great because its name becomes Cyber Dragon while it's on the field or in the graveyard, much like with Cyber Dragon Core and Cyber Dragon Naxter. They all become Cyber Dragon, so that helps with a lot of your fusion monsters in your extra deck that you're going to be running. And then if this card is special summoned, you can make its level become 5 until the end of the turn. So that's another way to get into your rank 5 Xyz plays. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one other Cyber Dragon from your deck or your graveyard to your hand. So it's a good way to recur some of your lost cards back into the game. Then we're playing 3 copies of Cyber Dragon Dry. Reason why I like Cyber Dragon Dry is because A, he's an 1800 normal summon. When he's normal summoned, you can make all Cyber Dragons you control become level 5. So if you have just like Core and Naxter or Core and Hers on your field and you play Cyber Dragon Dry, you can automatically turn them into 5 stars, and also you can turn Cyber Dragon Dry into a 5-star and then go into your rank 5 with Nova and Infinity. Then we're playing 3 copies of Cyber Dragon Veer in our deck. And the reason why we play Veer is simply because he gives your monsters an attack boost. If you normal or special summon a Cyber Dragon, you can special summon him from your hand to the field in defense position, and then each Cyber Dragon you control will gain 500 attack and defense. So he acts as a nice little boost to all your monsters. Then lastly, we're playing 1 copy of Cyber Eltanin. And the reason why we're playing one of him is because he acts as like a board wipe kind of, so you banish all light machine monsters from your field and your graveyard, and his attack becomes the number of monsters that were banished times 500. And then when he's special summoned, you can send all other face-up monsters on the field to the graveyard. So yes, you're clearing out your own field and your own graveyard, but then you're also wiping out all your opponent's monsters on the field, and he'll be the only one left with a giant attack. So moving on to our spells and traps, we're playing 3 copies of Cyber Emergency. The reason why we play 3 copies of Cyber Emergency is because it helps you search any Cyber Dragon from your deck directly into your hand. So it's a good way to get anything you might need, core, Naxter, just the regular Cyber Dragon out of your deck and into your hand to make plays. Then we're playing 3 copies of Machine Duplication. So we're running a couple of different 1-star monsters like Hers, Naxter, and Core. So this is just a great way to duplicate the number of monsters you have on your field. And then you can play Cyber Dragon dry and turn all those 1-star monsters into 5 stars. Then we're playing 3 copies of Cyber Rev System. Reason why we're playing 3 copies of Cyber Rev System is because it acts as like a monster reborn. You can special summon a Cyber Dragon from your hand or your graveyard, and it cannot be destroyed by card effects. So it's got a little bit of built-in protection as well. Then you're going to be playing a couple of different fusions in your extra decks. So we're playing, of course, 3 copies of Polymerization, and to help search out your Polymerization, we're also playing 1 copy of Fusion Sage. Then to help get rid of Spell and Traps, we're using 3 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon. Ideally, you want to use something a little bit better like Harpy's Feather Duster or Lightning Storm, or even like an Infinite Impermanence maybe, but I don't have any extra copies of those right now, so we're just going to be using Mystical Space Typhoon. Then for draw power, we're going to be using 3 copies of Pot of Desires. So pretty simple, you banish the top 10 cards of your deck face down and you get to draw 2 cards. So this is actually okay that we're banishing cards because we are playing 2 copies of Cyber Network, which helps you bring back some of your banished monsters. We're also playing 1 copy of Pot of Duality, 1 copy of Foolish Burial, 1 copy of Monster Reborn to go along with the Foolish Burial, so if there's a specific card you need to pitch to your graveyard, you can use the Monster Reborn then to get it out onto the field. We're also playing 1 copy of 1-for-1 because we have monsters like Cyber Dragon Core, Hers, and Naxter in the deck. So you just send a monster from your hand to the graveyard and you can special summon a level 1 monster from your hand or your deck. So it's a good way to get them out of your deck, out of your hand if they're cluttering your hand, and getting them onto the field to make plays. We're also playing 1 copy of Raigeki, 2 copies of Cyber Repair Plant, and 2 copies of Power Bond to give your fusion summon monsters a little bit of a boost. And for the traps for this deck, we're playing 3 copies of Cybernetic Overflow. So basically, you just banish Cyber Dragons with different levels from your hand, face up on the field or in the graveyard to destroy an equal number of cards your opponent controls. And then if this card on the field is destroyed by card effect, you can add a Cyber Spell or Trap from your deck to your hand, and you can only use that effect once per turn. So this is going to be your main card that you're going to use to help pop some of the things on your opponent's field. And like I mentioned before, we're playing 2 copies of Cyber Network. So this card's great because after your 3rd standby phase, you destroy it, and when this card leaves the field, you can special summon as many of your banished light machine monsters as possible. If you already have a bunch in there from your Pot of Desires mill, you can get them back. This card also lets you banish 1 light machine monster each turn until it's destroyed, so that's another way to pitch some of your Cyber Dragons, and then you'll be able to get them back after your 3rd turn when this card leaves the field. Moving on to the extra deck, we're playing 1 copy of Chimera Tech Mega Fleet, 1 copy of Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, and 1 copy of Chimera Tech Over Dragon. We're also playing 1 copy of Cyber Twin Dragon because he can attack twice during the battle phase, and 2 copies of Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon. The reason why we play 2 copies of Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon is because when he's fusion summoned, you can target spell or traps on the field up to the number of fusion materials that were used for his summon and destroy them. And then once per turn, you can send up to 2 light machine monsters from your deck to the graveyard. And if you do, for each monster sent to the graveyard, he gains an additional attack. So he acts as good spell and trap removal, and he also acts as another Cyber Twin Dragon because he'll be able to attack multiple times during the battle phase. Then we're playing 1 copy of Cyber Eternity Dragon. So he's really great because he's a 2800 attack, 4000 defense monster, and his effect says that if you have machine monsters in your graveyard, which you're going to, your opponent cannot target him with card effects, and also cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Then we're playing, of course, 2 copies of Cyber Dragon Infinity, 3 copies of Cyber Dragon Nova. So basically, Nova and Infinity are your main combo play for this deck. So you'll do your rank 5 at Seas play into Nova, then go into Infinity, and that gives you the opportunity to snatch one of your opponent's face-up attack monsters by attaching it to Infinity, and then you can also detach a material from Infinity to negate one of your opponent's effects. Then we're playing one copy of Digvorzak, King of Heavy Industry. Reason why we're playing him is because once per turn you can detach one material from this card and send the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck to the graveyard, and if any of them are monsters, you can destroy cards your opponent controls up to the number of monsters sent. So he's another good way to either get rid of some of your opponent's back row or destroy some annoying monsters that they have on the field. And he only takes 3 level 5s to make him, so that's pretty simple when you have Cyber Dragon and you have Cyber Dragon Dry to help turn your 1-star monsters into 5 stars. And then lastly, we're playing 2 copies of Cyber Dragon Seeger. Moving on to the side deck, it's not super great because a lot of my better side deck cards are already being used for different decks that I have. But we were playing 1 copy of Gamma Seal, 2 copies of Lava Golem. The reason why we have these guys in the side deck is because if you ever want to add them into your main deck, it's a good way to just get rid of some of your opponent's monsters. You can special summon these guys onto their field by tributing off their card. We also have 1 copy of Effect Veiler to negate your opponent's monster's effects. 2 copies of Torrential Tribute to help wipe the board whenever your opponent normal or special summons a monster. You can destroy all monsters on the field, which is perfectly fine because the Cyber Dragon deck at its core functions well whenever you have Cyber Dragons in your graveyard anyway, so this just helps work with your strategy. Then we're playing 1 copy of Called by the Grave in case you want to banish something that's in your opponent's graveyard that's really annoying, like a hand trap or something else. We're also playing 2 copies of Dark Hole for more board wipe potential there. 2 copies of Mirror Force. 2 copies of Swords of Revealing Light. The reason why Swords of Revealing Light is in here is just because it acts as a stall method for you to hopefully get into your cards if you're not seeing what you want to see, or you're not getting those search cards that you should be drawing into. This just buys you a little bit more time, stops your opponent from attacking for 3 turns. Then we're playing the all-important Gozen match. The reason why we're playing this is because it says each player can only control 1 attribute of monster, which is perfectly fine because all your Cyber Dragon cards are going to be light for the most part. Even the monsters that are in your extra deck are going to be light monsters as well, so that's not an issue. And then lastly, for extra attack boost, we're playing 1 copy of Limiter Removal. Alright, so that's it for the profile. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did like the video, be sure to subscribe and leave a like on it. That always helps our channel grow. And with that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you on the next video.